right, let's give this a go. 3, 2, and a 1. What is up, everybody? We are live on YouTube with the third 2025 Hot Takes Live. My name is Matt, one of your hosts. We have many, many good ones, and I want to go ahead before we get into it, because that's what you're all here for, to get to figure out who the other hosts are besides myself, because I am not the only lovely person here. Alongside me is a fellow English, already shaking his head at me like I'm a problem, Mr. John. John, how are you this evening? Your mustache is looking great.
Thank you. We are good. We are clear eyes and full hearts. So there's no way we're going to lose. Certainly not at home. We'll just draw again.
Sure. Yeah. We cannot win on the home. We cannot win at home, and I'm sure we'll talk about it in a bit. Not concurrent to John, but below John, at least on my screen and all of your screens, we have Chicago Fire's favorite Scotsman, Paul McCann. How are you, buddy?
I'm very well, Matt. How are you? It's good to be back.
Tough day at work, but I'm happy to be here with you. You look great.
Thank you. You dried out after Saturday. That was a pretty wet one, eh?
Yeah, it was a fun one. We stayed a little later at Soldier Field, hanging out at the bar. So I slept well that night. We'll just say that. But it's good to see you. And rounding out the cast, drinking his bourbon, whiskey, as per usual, is Mr. Joe Tippman. Joe, 2 questions for you. 1, how are you doing? And 2, what are we drinking today?
We're off to
Joe.
a roaring start. Joe is muted.
Oh, no.
Oh, he's back. He's here. Don't worry, guys.
I am doing great. But I also want to say hello to Matt's mom. But today I am drinking the J. Holiday red wheat bottled and bond. Very tasty.
What happened to no free ads?
Ads. Full time.
Well, yeah, cold time's really good, but it's good to see you, Joe, and glad to see you're here. And that hat, which most of you can't see who are probably listening to this, is absolutely fire. In addition to us 4, we have 15-ish great people in the chat, including, like someone alluded to, potentially my mom. So maybe she'll say something in the comments and we'll chat about her, but not right now. For now, we'll send a quick reminder about what Hot Takes is. This is a live show. We're currently live on YouTube. It will be posted on Spotify and Apple, which is where most of you are probably listening to this. We send out a form 2 weeks before every show, which happens at the end of every month, where you guys can share your takes, your questions, and we'll chat about them live. This is not a really respectful show. This is a show that kind of encourages arguing and hot takes. That's literally the name of the show. So we're in for a really, really good time today. We got a lot of good questions and we're ready for war. That's all I'm saying. If you are currently in the live chat, you'll see there's a pinned message at the top saying talk with us. If you click that button, you'll be put into a waiting room on Zoom, and I will let you in depending on how nice you are to me in the chat. So if you want to come chat with us live, go ahead and click that link at any point, maybe after 20 minutes, so we could get out a few things first. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to chat with you. As long as you don't talk about how good Tom Barlow is, then I might kick you out. The Fire have had a raging start to the season. 6 games, 11 points. We all know it. We've been happy. We've been sad, most recently sad against Montreal, but it only gets harder from here. This Saturday, the boys go to New Jersey to take on the Red Bulls and then return for a double game week where they have Miami and Cincinnati at home, 2 of the top teams in the Eastern Conference. And then I'm blanking. And then they round it out with Nashville, who I didn't think was going to be as good as they are. And you know what? DJ, you do have to be nice to Matt. Sorry, just got to say that. But Nashville is kicking butt. So the next 4 games are really, really difficult. March recap. Let's go a little bit of what we talked about, what we've seen the last 31 days. There was, of course, that heartbreaker versus DC, the bicycle kick from the heavens, I'll go ahead and say, against a rookie American striker from DC, the 3-game win streak on the road against 2 Canadian teams and Lucho Acosta's FC Dallas. And then, of course, coming back to Montreal this past Saturday, tying 1-1, can't get the win at home. I've said this publicly many, many a times, but I've not seen a win at home since 2023. But we're back to good news, because the Fire made a signing today. Jay Devia, a center defensive center mid from Cote d'Ivoire, has been signed to a U22 contract. This is a really lanky guy, a good defender, doesn't bring a lot in attack, and is clearly one of those signings that we're convinced Berhalter is going to work some magic on. John, do you have something to say about that?
Yeah, kind of just an interesting profile, right? And another guy coming from the lower levels of Portugal. He was playing in the second league in Portugal. And, we saw Leo Barroso come over from Sporting's second team. I I, for the life of me, cannot remember the name, but one of the assistants Greg brought in for the front office was coming over from Sporting. So I would imagine this is a guy they've had eyes on, somebody they wanted to bring in. They fought off an attempt from Leeds last year, if I'm remembering correctly. He had just signed a new contract that had like a $15 million release clause. This is all from reporting from Alex Calabrese from Men in Red 97, of course. But yeah, so really promising young talent. I mean, we've already seen one U22 hit. Let's see if this other one can as well, right?
Yeah, and there really hasn't been a player that hasn't fit into Greg Berhalter's system so far. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. No one's heard of this guy. And if you say you've heard of this guy, you either know a crazy amount of ball, which I doubt you do, knowing the people in this chat. No offense, or you're lying. So we'll see what this guy can bring to the table. Not sure when he gets to Chicago. Not sure when he gets available. But it looks like our midfield pool is really, really, really deep now, which is something we couldn't say 6 weeks ago. Before we get into our hot takes, we just wanted to call out one person like we did last show, and that's Joe. If you weren't here last episode, Joe doesn't know this, or he looks confused. Let me just say that. If you didn't know, last episode or 2 episodes ago, I can't remember which one, Joe made a comment saying that his hot take on the season is the Fire were going to lead the league in clean sheets. And I just wanted to check in, Joe, do you still feel good about that, knowing that we have played 6 games and haven't had 1 clean sheet?
More confident than ever.
Got it. Doubling down, classic Joe fashion. I'm glad to see that one drink has already turned him into a drunk idiot. But I really appreciate the fact that he doubled down and didn't say he's sorry, because
no coward.
He's no coward. That is this week's edition of Calling Out the Fellow Hot Takes host. I'm going to bounce it over to John.
Yeah, so we're going to kind of roll into some hot takes here, guys. Remember, if like we mentioned before, process is very similar to the Discord channel. The Zoom link is up, linked or pinned in the chat, excuse me. So feel free to click that. Once we get to our actual community takes is when we'll start getting people in, but feel free to hang out and wait in there. Just make sure that if you come in, you mute the actual stream so we're not getting echo. But we'll start kind of general thoughts on the opening 6 games here. We've seen some highs, we've seen some lows, we've seen some mid at times, right? Disappointing Saturday this past week. But Matt, I'll kick to you in terms of your biggest takeaway from these opening 6 games.
Yeah, it's a good question. I'll share that my main concern the first 5 to 10 weeks was going to be starting slow. We've seen it with Wiki and Ezra and honestly Pono and pretty much everyone. Whenever you get a new batch of players in like we did this year, it takes a minute for them to gel. And I was concerned that although Berhalter is a quality coach, he has experience in the league, that was going to be the same sort of thing that we've seen for the past 15 years at this club. Largely, that's not the case, which makes me happy. And that exceeds my expectations for the first 6 games. And hopefully that continues through the 10 games. Winning 3 games on the road is something that I didn't think we'd be doing in the first year of Berhalter ball. And that also exceeds my expectations. So I'm happy. That is my takeaway. My takeaway is that I actually am not already bored and sick of watching the Chicago Fire past week 6, which is a really, really positive feeling to have.
Yeah, it's definitely nice. First of all, shout out all my bar leavers out there, Matt. That was a sick call out. I'm going to steal that and use it all the time now. Yeah, look, I don't disagree. I just saw Dinosaur in the chat said, the game wasn't super disappointing. Like it wasn't. But overall, I would say the biggest takeaway for me is like, we're good. We're not great. Like I think we said at the beginning of the year, like the goal of this team probably isn't to win MLS Cup, even though that's always the goal. The goal is to make the playoffs. And this is a team that is in a very good position to do so 6 games into the year, if you can call it that. So we're good. We're not great. We're a team that maybe make a run in Open Cup. That seems to be maybe more the goal this year. But we're good. And that's super, super refreshing based on the last forever. Joe, where are you taking away?
Chris Brady is a dog. I think if it wasn't for, which is what I think is still, our Achilles heel so far, early season with the injuries and everything else like that, is just our back line. Still our weak point. But I'm surprised. I have that feeling. I don't always have that feeling like we're about to give up a goal, which is something nice. I think that has more to do with Brady than the back line, but it's been impressive to see what they've been able to do with what they have. Overachieving.
Yeah, can't disagree. Paul, where are you at?
Yeah, my biggest thing to come into the season was just seeing how the team plays and
I just thought, even though this team isn't completely together yet, not fully gelled yet, we don't have all the parts in place quite yet. But right now, this is a playoff team to me. Because if you want to be a playoff team, like we've seen it, they've extended the playoff pool. You just have to be better than bad, basically, to get into the playoffs. But once you're in the playoffs, and once you're pushing late in the season to make sure you're in those playoffs and get a good spot, there's multiple things you need to have in your team. And last minute wins, away wins, things like those in tough conditions, that's a playoff team. That's what you need. And we've seen that from this team already. And once we get all the parts in place, I think we're good to go for a little bit of a run. Not MLS Cup run, but we might see a win. We might see a win.
I mean, I think just about everybody would have signed up for a playoff win at the end of last season. That much I can
100%.
tell you for sure. Yeah, Paul, I'm right there with you. And you said it well there. I think of like trying to gel, trying to stick together as the road gets tough. And I think we're going to learn a lot. Matt alluded to what this next month or so is really going to look like. So we're going to look ahead a little bit here. Next 4 games are a bit of a gauntlet. We're going to New Jersey to play the Red Bull. From there, it is Miami at home, Cincinnati at home, and then Nashville away. Matt, I kind of agree with you. I don't know how good Nashville actually is, but they're certainly in form, so you have to take them seriously. Paul, I'll throw it back to you here. How many points do you need to get out of this run to continue this form, to be the level of team we'd like to be?
Yeah, in this run, I mean, there's a lot of good few tough games in there, but, you know, by the time we play Nashville, they could have lost 4 games for all we know. I think there are winnable games in there. I don't think we necessarily need to win games right now. I don't think that's really what we're thinking about, but I do think anything more than 6 points would be fantastic to push on for this season.
Yeah, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with Paul that I don't think we have to win. We don't need points, but I seriously think we should get at least 8 points on this trip. I think that's a very doable thing.
Damn. Yeah, that's a little. Look, like, I'd love that. I mean, I think considering what I wrote in the outline, 3 out of 4, but considering half these games are at home, right? We haven't seen Cincinnati really gel yet. Miami's almost definitely going to be without Messi. I think you should get 6 points out of this trip, right? And if that's 1 wins and a couple draws, I think that's fine. But I think you should. You always want to defend home turf, right? So I think Miami and Cincinnati should both be shooting to win. That Nashville game could be a winnable game on the road, right? But yeah, I would say 6 points is kind of where my mind is. Anything less than 5 would be a disappointment to me.
I'm close to you, John. I'm going to go. My prediction is 7. I don't know what combination of wins and tie that is for that matter, but I'm going with 7. That being said, I think they need 9. And I know that's ambitious knowing the opposition. But 1, you should be winning your home games. I don't care if it's Miami. I don't care if it's Cincinnati. You should be winning those games if you want to be respected. You can't go out and win 3 goddamn away games in a row. I don't care if the opposition was the best in the league or the worst in the league and then come home and shit the bed. You can't do it. You need to win your home games. That should be the expectation. And since they're winning on the road, there's no reason they shouldn't be winning at home. So I'm going with those 2 big wins. I know we'll talk about Miami and the Red Bulls in a second, but Red Bull going to New York, they're coming off a bad loss to New England Revolution. They're going to be feisty, but once again, I still think we're more talented. We beat them last year, I believe, away. And it's the same with Nashville, although Hani Mukhtar definitely loves messing up the fire. Like when I went with Orion, a couple of the MRI guys a few years ago, where he dropped a hat trick. It's a game you could win. I see no reason why they can't get 7, but I truly think they need 9 if they want to show that they're actual competitors this season. Now, like Paul said, I think they're not expected to win MLS Cup this season, but like I mentioned, you can't win 3 away games in a row and not get the blood flowing in my body and get me thinking way, way higher than we should be. So that's what I'm going with.
Yeah. I mean, and that's just a level of expectation, right? We've seen this team play at a high level and we're only getting healthier. Brian Gutierrez will hopefully be back soon. Same with Colin Acosta. So kind of to that end, Matt, I'll toss it back to you here as we look forward to maybe two of the biggest games of this early season so far, right? We're going away to New Jersey to play the defending Eastern Conference champions, and then Miami at home, which is huge because, of course, it's Miami. They're top of the table right now. Realistically, what are you expecting to see from the team in these next 2 weeks?
Realistically, that realistically is an objective word, because realistically in my head is not actually what is realistic. So say you go to Red Bulls, obviously they have talent. They have Choupo-Moting. They have Emil Forsberg. The player that I'm most scared about, though, is injured, and that's Lewis Morgan. I think you could definitely get a result there, whether it's a tie or a win. Obviously, a win would be partial. So I'm going to go with at least 1 point, maybe 3 points. You come home, you have the big Miami game. Will Messi play? Probably not. He's literally horrified of Rafa Schihos, and he doesn't even play for the club anymore. So that being said, we still lost 4-1 last year when we played them, even without Messi. Granted, totally different club. So naturally, I'm going to say we're going to kick their fucking ass and get 3 points. That is a game, if you want to be taken seriously in the Chicago community and in the MLS community and within your own community, you win that game. Yeah, Miami's I think they're top of the table right now. Them or Philly, one of the two. And for good reason. They're probably the best team in the league. We all hate to say it, but they're going to come into Soldier Field with or without Messi and compete hard. And you have to go out and compete harder, not like we did against Montreal. It's a character game for the boys.
Yeah, 1,000%, right? I think there's a very real chance New York comes out next week. New Jersey comes out next week with a bit of a fire under their ass, right? They lost this week, probably a game they should have won. I could see that being a really tough fought, 2-1 loss, right? Something kind of close like that. But New York is, right now probably the better team. And coming off a place where they got embarrassed, they probably have something to prove against, against a team that's playing well and in form. It would be considered a good win for them, I think, right now. So coming back against Miami, I think you need to kind of show out. I think you're going to have a little bit to prove. And I think, man, for a lot of these guys, this is the moment, right? You got 60,000 fans in front of you, 50,000 fans in front of you. It's your opportunity to introduce yourself to the city for everybody not named Hugo Kuipers, Brian Gutierrez, and Chris Brady, essentially, right? Huge opportunity there. Joe, where are you at, man?
I think we're going to draw at Red Bulls just because I think this is going to be a bounce back. And then, we always seem to get into these tough squabbles with Red Bulls. Miami, I think we're going to come out and pound them. You're going to pound them into the ground. I think this team is not going to, I think they're going to defend the home turf. I think it's the first time where I think, you have those wins, you get that confidence, and you don't want to lose at home. And Messi's not going to be here. He's not going to be here. They have all these advertisements that he's going to be here, and he's not. And I just think we're going to smash them, and we're going to inspire a new generation of Chicago Fire football fans.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Joe. I think it's going to be a tough one against New York. They always seem to be like a kind of dirty game against New York. There's almost like a weird hidden rivalry there between these players. So I think it's going to be a tough game, but I think the Fire sneak it in New York or New Jersey on Saturday. I think it'll be a hard fought, really, really hard fought game. But I think Moting's going to get sent off. That's my hot take. I think he's going to get sent off. Going on to the week after that, we don't really know where the Fire's team or Miami's team is going to be at that point, especially with all of our injuries that we're hoping to have back. So we don't really know if we're going to have our best squad. I feel confident in this squad, but I think if we get Acosta and Guti back in that midfield and we really take the game to Miami, I think we're in for a good game. But I think man for man, even without Messi, Miami do have a better squad right now. And I think Miami will nudge a close game against Chicago.
Yeah.
And Messi, no chance.
I love it if he did, just because it would be super sweet to just crush his little heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And honestly, it's just nice to see the best ever play sometimes,
That is true.
You just don't want to see it happen against your team. He's went against Celtic and destroyed us a few times, and it hurts. But he's still the greatest. Still the greatest.
All I'm saying is I'm really glad that Federico Navarro never had the chance to play Messi, because Messi would go out with a broken ankle or something like that.
That's all I ever wanted. All I ever wanted was for Federico Navarro to take Lionel Messi's Achilles.
Damn, that's harsh, dude. Come on now.
What you think about it? Leo Messi laying on the ground, the whole supporter section. You're going home in a Cook County ambulance. I probably shouldn't be saying that.
You convinced me. You convinced me.
He could afford
Messi
it.
should get injured. Let's go.
Okay, we're gonna cut
That's
that
what
one out.
John's
No,
saying.
nobody clip that. All right, so kind of moving into the back half of moving into this next month here, we're gonna start kind of a new trend we want to go through. So for each month moving forward, we're gonna pick and then recap who's your guy, right? So you got one guy to ride or die with each month in the season. So Paul, I'm gonna kick it off with you. Who's your guy?
It's got to be Barroso. I'm just so excited by him. It's such an overused phrase to call out player raw. He is a little bit raw, but what I'm seeing so far, I'm enjoying. I think once he gets a solid, strong midfield in front of him, and he's not having to run around like a headless chicken for most of the game, I think we're going to see one of the best players in our team from that kid.
Joe, what's so funny?
Paul likes it raw.
Okay.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I hate you. Look, I hate you.
Oh, Paul likes it
Fuck
raw.
you guys.
Clip it. Go ahead, Joe. You're up. Go ahead.
I think my player, Sam Rogers. Not only is he wearing number 5, the number of my favorite player and also least favorite player in Chicago Fire history, but he's come out swinging. I mean, literally, he's played great. I mean, you look at someone who he came in. I don't think he expected to be starting. Little rough patch in the first game, but just like he's solid. He's a very, very solid player, and I'm happy that we have him starting right now. Very thrilled.
Okay. I mean, like, I think he's improved. I don't know if I quite agree with that, but I appreciate your commitment. I'm going to go with the other guy in the center back pairing, who I think is showing out. Certainly bet on a bounce back year, and it's paying off. That's Jack Elliott, our British king, as it were. I think there's a real solid chance we reach the end of the season, and he's made a case for Defender of the Year. He's been outstanding. His passing has been great. His defensive work has been great. We saw him one-on-one in the box, just embarrassing Prince Owusu a couple times last night or on Saturday, excuse me. So, yeah, I'm 1,000,000% rolling with Jack Elliott. He might even be. I might just pick him every month.
That's a great pick. That's a solid pick. Not only is he the most British man in the world, but he's been a great backline general. I think makes everyone in that line better, and especially when they're struggling right now. Excellent. No notes.
1,000,000%.
Joe, just to let you know, the bonfire crew is not overly fun with Sam Rogers, so that's where that
care.
look of
Nobody listens to him
disgust
anyway.
came from John. I will say on the topic of Sam Rogers, and then I'll get to what I'm actually supposed to talk about. His little post game things where he goes like, "I don't care what I'm doing, I'm pooing, doesn't matter. Lakers in 5." Like that shit is.
He's an elite vibes guy. So
Yeah.
I'm rocking with him for that.
Perfect.
Like, I don't want him out of the starting 11 because his vibes are immaculate.
Yeah, his vibes are good. He posts good tunes on his Instagram too. Reeling myself back in because I could talk about his tunes for days. I'm actually still not going to follow the rules, and I'm going to pick 2 because I couldn't pick one, even though I wrote one.
Dude
Yeah,
thinks
I know.
because he owns the company. Whatever.
Oh yeah,
because I own the company, I can do what I want.
and can't
Number
read
one,
the show outline.
I'm going to do the one that I was going to do originally, and that's Mr. Bamba. I think whenever you get into a stretch of time where you're playing elite competition, you expect your stars who are getting paid the most amount of money to show up. And I think this is going to be the month where we see that with Bamba. I don't know if he's the highest player on the team. I imagine it's him or Hugo. But regardless, his expectations are skyrocketing. And he's shown a little bit of class. He's shown a little bit of inconsistency. But I think it's time where he's actually going to do it. My second one, my bonus one, is Andrew Dean Gutman. Don't actually know if that's his middle name. Bamba's partner on the left. Yeah, maybe that's actually why I said that. Andrew Gutman, who I said this at the game yesterday, when healthy is the best attacking fullback in MLS. Sorry, Jordan Alba, kiss my ass. But if he stays healthy, that combination of people on the left between Bamba and Gutman is top 5 in the league. And he's really, really impressed me this season. He will continue to impress me as long as he can keep his muscles healthy. So if you ever need a masseuse, Andrew, just call
Okay,
Joe.
we're going to keep it
He's
moving
really
there.
good at that. Yeah.
I don't know what you're offering Andrew Gutman, but I don't want to put Joe
No, I
in
was
any
offering
uncomfortable
Joe
positions.
I was offering Joe to Andrew Gutman, just for the record. He's a doctor, basically.
There we go. Joe's a doctor. Andrew Gutman, let us know if you need help with your muscles.
Muscles.
All right, cool. So now it is sorry, I got off topic there. Now is the part of the show why everybody actually comes here. You don't care about what we have to say, what you care about what you have to say. So we're going to get into our community takes. Again, everybody, please, if you would like to join, just go to that pinned comment, click that link. We will get you in here shortly. We're going to start with some of the ones submitted through the forum this week, but we promise if you get in, we will do our best to get you on and talk some ball with you. Just make sure you're prepared to be yelled at by Joe because he enjoys.
Yeah, come in here, FC Neo Tokyo.
Oh my God!
Show your face, you coward.
We need Nosferatu to be better at center back to cover for Gutman's facts. To be honest, he is covering for Andrew Gutman a lot, but that's not what we're talking about right now. What we're talking about right now is number one Carlos Terran enthusiast.
Slander to Gutman. That's all.
Number one Carlos Terran enthusiast said, "From the looks of it, Virgil van Dijk is willing to make a move to MLS. Would you accept having him on the team? And how would you feel if we somehow got him?" Going to pair that with a secondary question from Patrick, who said, "What position should we use our DP slot on?" Because I will say here with my full chest, no issues with Virgil van Dijk in Chicago. I would love it. Pay him any amount of money, sign him to any length of contract. Paul, I'm going to push to you because I know you agree with me because he played for Celtic.
Hard agree. I mean, I've been saying since the first podcast of the season that we should be using that DP slot on a centre back. And I've been saying we should get Jason Denier, who I'm still a big fan of. But why I said him is because when he was at Celtic, he was playing a central defence for Virgil van Dijk, and Denier was the better player at that time. But we all knew Van Dijk had a higher ceiling. And Van Dijk isn't far off from that ceiling yet. You know, he's still playing at a very high level. If we can get him, if we've got the money, get him in now.
Matt, this is not the bonfire. Don't raise your hand, all right? You can just talk, buddy.
I just wanted to make sure that Joe wasn't going to cut me off with some stupid thing. Okay, that's all I was trying to do. Also, what is he doing to the camera right now? Why is he so cool?
I think Joe froze. All right, Matt, just go.
No, he's not for okay. Yeah, I agree with Paul, and it's actually really funny that this question came in because Joe, stop. Because about a week ago, I kid you not, I take melatonin every night. This is important context, I promise. I take melatonin every night, and in case you don't know what melatonin does, it like enhances your. It has some chemical crap in it that enhances your likeliness to have dreams. And I have dreams pretty much every night. And I kid you not, a week ago, before I even saw this question, Joe, stop, please. You're oromaxing. I had a dream that we signed Virgil van Dijk on a free from Liverpool to a TAM deal. And I literally woke up in like a cold sweat. I was so happy. Granted, we probably wouldn't sign him on a TAM deal, but I think this is the only circumstance. I wouldn't even do Jason Donier, even though I've been a pro Jason Donier guy in the past on these shows. He's like one of the maybe 3 center backs I would actually be happy with if we used a DP spot on. You asked that question, right? What position should we use our DP spot on, or am I jumping?
Yeah, that's the secondary of this.
Got it. Can I just answer that too while I have the mic, John?
That's the idea.
Awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. Well, like I said, Virgil van Dijk be one of 3, maybe like, I don't know, Pau Torres or Ezri Konsa, the 2 other best center backs in the world, go Villa. But the DP spot's a really interesting question to me because it fully depends on if we use it this summer or if we use it next year. I think if we use it this summer, also we do have someone in the waiting room, John, just to let you know. And I'll get done in a second. If we use it this summer, I think a center back or a winger, and then you have Zinker, Nagel, and Marin coming off the bench, which is all of a sudden the greatest winger pool in the country. And the if not, I'm going center mid because who knows if Kouame and who knows if Sergio is going to be here. So that's my take. But apparently I'm yapping, according to John. So
okay, that's why I sent it in the chat. Anyway, yeah. Joe, I'll toss to you after this. I actually love the idea of sending in another defender. I think the midfield is now incredibly deep. All of these young guys are playing beyond their expectations. You're seeing Mauricio Pineda really flourish in the midfield. He's still somebody who can fill in on the back line as needed, right? Maybe even not starting, but I would love to go get a high level center back to pair alongside Jack Elliott, who I think, like I said, has the chance to be one of the best center backs in MLS. I like the depth on the wings. maybe if Gutierrez leaves in the summer, which I really hope doesn't happen, maybe you go get another midfielder who can play in a more attacking role. But I would love a center back. I would love Virgil van Dijk. I would love Cameron Carter-Vickers. Not a DP, but I love Jimmy Dunn. Hashtag the only Rangers worth supporting, wear hoops and play in Queen's Park. Anyway, Joe, what do you think?
I think we use it on whatever position Jonathan Dean plays and just get him out. Get him out.
The man has a punctured lung. Why are we still talking about him? Like, with all due respect.
Big woo.
Yeah,
I have a punctured lung.
Yeah,
okay,
yapping,
Matt.
Joe.
Why don't you get whoever's in the waiting room into the chat?
Yeah,
Let's
get
get
him in
them.
the waiting room.
Yeah, this is a fun one. This is a regular on the show. It's Mr. Marshy, who I believe
God.
last time is the individual who had the Tom Barlow take. So, Joe, I'm going to ask you to behave until we hear what Marshy has to say. Okay, sound good?
You guys
Joe,
seen? Do you remember the end of Shrek when he sings "I'm a Believer"? That, but bar lever. That's what I want. All right, get him in here.
Okay, here we go. I wonder who's going to get kicked out on the screen. I hope it's not me.
No, it should just automatically adjust.
Great. Hey, Marshy.
I'm gonna adjust this.
Hey, sorry, I had to I had to pause the YouTube video.
Good call.
So
Smart man.
So my take is obviously we're still waiting for the confirmation that this Gita Davia transfer is going to go through. Ever since it was kind of like
Marshy, I'm gonna interrupt you really quick. I think it's as confirmed as it's gonna get.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Ever since it was originally said that we were going to sign him, I've been watching a little bit of film. And my take is that I personally believe that we should play him as much as possible this season, start him as much as possible this season. And I may or may not hold. Here's my thought process. Romani Kwame is great. I don't think we're going to keep him after the season. I think he's going to be another Alan Aragoni type where he plays great for us for the season, but we don't really have the roster means to keep him past a loan. So we let him go and spend whatever roster space we have on another defender. You get what I'm trying to say? I don't think we're going to keep him past the rest of the season. So just from what I've seen from this Gita Davia guy, he's pretty big, pretty fast for his build, and he's a very skilled passer, which is kind of what we need in the midfield right now. So I see no reason, even though he's young, that we shouldn't play him as much as possible.
Yeah.
If we're not going to be keeping Kwame past whatever this season, we should probably have players who are ready next season when we don't have Kwame anymore. And Pineda is that guy, but I think that Gita Davia has the potential to be better than Pineda. I mean, I don't think he's worth $4 million, but clearly Leeds thought he was worth $4 million. That's all I'm going to say.
Now, super reasonable take. I would say it's hot in who are you kicking out of the starting lineup right now, right? Because we can talk about Kwame. Sergio Orahel has looked awesome. He's blown me away in terms of my expectations for him, right? And so when you talk about a young guy who we want to keep around, he's not even on a U22 deal. That's basically free money right now, right? So he's been awesome. We know Brian Gutierrez is, I mean, maybe he won't be here next year, but for the rest of this year, he's certainly in the lineup. And Kellen Acosta is the captain when he's healthy, right? So who are you kicking out of the lineup is kind of the follow-up there. Guys, any general follow-ups for y'all?
I know I'm not supposed to raise my hand, but I just got really excited. I'll say this. This feels like a type of signing that already tells me that Romaninge Kwame is not going to sign or we're not going to purchase him or we're not going to sign him extensively because we already don't have space as is. With the emergence of Sergio Orahel, Kellen Acosta coming back either this Saturday or next Saturday, it's just going to make that field much more competitive. So it sounds like to me that Davia is going to spend some time kind of learning the ropes of the league this season, and next season implement his way into the starting 11 in some capacity. Will Guti be here? Will Sergio Orahel be here? What injuries are going to happen? But it sounds like to me this is a really learn the ropes this season, start or get significant minutes next season, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I did say this when it was first kind of leaked that we were going to be signing this. You can go back in the Discord if you want proof. I did say that I thought that Romani Kwame was going to be very short term, and then Gita Davia was going to be long term. The long term plans for Greg Berhalter, you can see why. Again, if you watch any amount of film, you can see why he's exactly what Greg Berhalter wants. He's a physical player already, which is perfect for the MLS. He's already got that MLS archetype. He's a skilled passer. He doesn't really take too many shots, but I don't think that we would need him to take too many shots. I guess if you watch Kouame's game, then that would be something they could work on. But again, he has the whole season before he would probably be in every single game starting player.
Yeah.
I think as much as I say I think he should be starting as much as possible this season, as much as possible is not like every game. As much as possible is if there's a reason to play him because Kouame isn't here or whatever, then start him. I'm thinking 10, 12 games this season, start Davia, play him off the bench for the rest of the season.
That's a much more reasonable number. That makes sense.
Yeah. And I think that, especially because I saw people in the server saying, I don't know about this guy. I think we should probably play him with Fire 2. I think if you're playing someone like this, Fire 2, I don't know. I think this is the kind of guy that we should be playing for the first team. And we should be getting as many minutes out of as possible. For sure. Marshy, appreciate you as always, dog. Great insight. I appreciate you actually watching tape because none of us did. So thank you for that. Okay. I just looked up how to pronounce this guy's name, so I didn't get it wrong. Well, that's sick because we were all just like, yeah, just say Jay. Like, that's fine.
I asked John to write out a transliteration of this guy's name so I didn't butcher it. So respect to you.
I think it's Gita Davia, like G. I don't know. We'll figure it out when the commentators say his name after his 99 goal season. There you go. Awesome. Barshi, thank you, dog. Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, just on that last bit, like I would be very surprised if he makes any appearances with Fire 2. I mean, maybe just, to kind of get him fit and ready, but I'd be pretty surprised if he played with Fire 2 this year. I think if he does play with Fire 2, he would. See, I don't even know if I want to say that. I think if he does play for Fire 2, he would probably play maybe a couple weeks and get called up pretty soon after. Yeah, kind of conditioning. I don't think he's. You got to kind of keep in mind sometimes, for me at least, that the league he is playing in is the Portuguese second division. So when you watch like the tapes, you got to kind of think about, okay, but how is that going to translate to a top 15 league in the world? I think he plays a physical game. I think he'll be good for MLS, but we'll just have to see. I don't think he's going to be the Barroso type where he can come in first game and make an impact. Valid. Appreciate you as always, Marshy. Thank you again. We're going to keep it rolling here now. Kind of an interesting one from the whatchamacallit, the form once more. I just saw Ryan in the chat saying, how long is this going? Typically, we're like around an hour, maybe a little bit more, depending on how many folks chime in. So, hour 15 is the normal goal. Hans Martin Nishida in the forum actually said, at least one Fire player is going to make it into the team of the season. I think we all have a pretty obvious idea of who that might be from jump, which would be Hugo Kuipers, because he's close to leading the Golden Boot race. But I'd love to get a kickback from all you fellas on who you think could make it outside of the star boy, the goal scorer.
My immediate, Chris Brady's a shout. I can't lie.
I mean, he's going to be the first one to do it without keeping a single clean sheet as well. It's going to be incredible.
He's playing really well. Zach Steffen's been awesome, man. Like, so good. It's tough to say Brady's been better than him right now.
I would say it.
I wonder if you guys are biased or not.
I mean, you just have to jump on the opposite side, huh? It's like just some sort of like
I think
show.
Look, if I had to pick one to have on my team, I'd probably still pick Chris Brady for the upside for the long term. But like, I can't say Zach Steffen hasn't been awesome. Like, what do you want me to lie?
I'm sure you think Drake Calendar's great too.
No, I don't like Drake Callender at all. Actually, I'm a well-documented Drake Callender hater. I think he's a fraud. All right, Matt, who are you going to say?
I was actually going to say Jack Elliott or Andrew Goop. And Jack Elliott we know that I believe he's probably been in the team of the season before. He's a good center back and he's been a good center back. And like Joe mentioned, he's made everyone better. And I do think that if Andrew Gutman keeps this level of contribution and consistency up, he's in the running. Now you have to get past Jordi Alba and probably a couple other guys. My left back MLS game knowledge is not that good, but you have to think that he's in the running. I say if he gets 7 goals and 10 assists, I mean, what else could you ask for from a left back?
Yeah,
That's fair.
Oh, go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, I've got a bit of a curveball for you guys. Chicago Fire, team of the season, Virgil van Dijk. If he comes,
Chicago
if he joins,
Fire
there's no
center
way
back
they don't
pairing.
Put him right in it there.
I mean,
I
fine
love
with
that.
me.
I love that. He doesn't have to play well. He just has to come to the league.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
That's a hot take that I think nobody in this planet has a problem with, unless you're a Liverpool
Even
fan.
if it's in the contract when he signs it, he has to be in the team of the season, even if he breaks his leg with the first game.
Well,
I think
God
they take it.
don't put that bad juju.
Come back in here. Come back in here.
So I do want to point out 3-2 get him in the chat said Zinkernagel supremacy. 100% agree, and I think there's a very real chance. I think I like Jonathan Bamba a lot. Matt, I think you alluded to before. I'm seeing a lot of him, what I saw from Hugo last year, which is kind of doing a lot of dirty work, not always playing his best game, but doing the little things that make me think he's committed to being here and playing at a high level here. So I think his stats could be underwhelming this year, and I said that in the first episode, right? I think Zinkernagel is a guy who could come in and end up having a shocking number of goal contributions kind of without anybody realizing it, and we're already starting to see that take shape. So we'll see how that holds up when Brian Gutierrez is back, but I think he'd be a nice shout. Same with Brian Gutierrez. We know MLS does love a good homegrown. We know how popular he is just as a dude, like super on the board as well, in my opinion. Anybody have anyone else to shout out before we keep it rolling here? Okay, cool. I did not put this in. I want that to be known. I am not the one who wrote it, and we don't need to spend long on it, but I want to say somebody else out there believes that Jonathan Dean is a great value player. He's on the minimum, pulls well above his weight. That is a direct quote from an anonymous listener.
Is Jonathan Dean?
I don't know. We're not allowed to say. It was anonymous, Joe. Was not Jonathan Dean, though, at least unless he used a fake name. And it was not me. People out there respect Jonathan Dean. Hashtag Barlever, hashtag Deanhead.
No.
I'll say this. Okay. You know what? Yeah. He's on a minimum contract.
Yeah,
and you know why he's
fine.
on a minimum contract?
He's
Because
trash.
nothing is expected of him because he's bad. That's why he's getting paid
And he's
little to
better
be
than that.
bad.
You just need a
No, he's
right
not.
good teammate around, you know? I bet he's a great guy to have around the dressing room. But really,
I know.
I mean,
Yeah.
really, when he's on the field, like, he never does enough to really stand out. And that's fine.
He needs to
think
bring
he's-
back the claw. He was like really exciting when he had the little claw. We heard
You're
his
not
hand.
wrong. That was actually peak. That was when he locked down Miami's
Yeah.
left side in that one game. He was
Mhm.
he had like a 4-game run where he was out of his freaking mind, man. And then he wasn't
hook.
anymore. Yeah, the claw. Bring back the claw.
Yeah, bring it
Maybe
back.
maybe just wrap up your whole chest because you have a punctured lung. Love that. So next one we'll jump to here because that wasn't really a real question. I just needed it for my own ego. Again, another dual question. So Tom said, say all the midfielders are 100% healthy and will remain that way for the rest of the year. Choose your starting 3. Who are they and why? And then just to kind of caveat that, Patrick said he would start Kawame over Kellen Acosta, which I think is an insane take. I'm actually going to start this one because I'm self-centered like that.
Go for it.
Brian Gutierrez, Kellen Acosta, Sergio Orhel. I don't think as of right now, Sergio Orhel has done anything that would make me take him out of the lineup. He's only getting better. He's only improving. And for somebody who's a homegrown, who's 19 years old, why would we not play him as much as possible? Kellen Acosta, I have in there because I think the game we saw on Saturday is a game that's won if Kellen Acosta is on the field. He adds a certain level of strength, of toughness, of grit to this team. And that I think we're missing when he's not out there. Jack Elliott, great leader, I think, but just not quite the same in terms of what he brings to the midfield. And then Brian Gutierrez, I was dead wrong. Dude's dynamic. His defensive work rate's been so much better. I mean, I don't think he'll be here much longer at this rate, but he's been fantastic. It's impossible to me to been impossible to me to leave him out.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was going to say the same thing. Acosta, who, in my opinion, has not been what I expected him to be, but is still a decent player. You know, he's your engine out there, is a guy who is now going to be starting when he gets healthy over who, probably at this point, it's Sam Williams. Brian Gutierrez, if he comes back healthy and, you know, not like Chris Muller did where you shit the bed after he came back from injury.
Different injury.
You're right. Different injury. You're right. Thank you, Dr. Joe. He's a mainstay. He's really the only attacking midfield of that bunch. And Sergio Orihel has earned his spot. Rummenigge Kwame is interesting because we've only seen him for in total about.
Can we pause? Matt, you got to learn to say this dude's name. Rummenigge Kwame. All right? Say it back to me.
As I was saying, Kwame is a guy we've only seen for about probably like 80 minutes total-ish, give or take 15, whatever. And yeah, he's played really well in that time. He scored the third goal against Toronto. And I know everyone's going to say as a result of that like, oh my God, he's God's gift to heaven. But I haven't seen enough of him to actually determine whether or not he's God's gift from heaven, not to heaven. So right now, I think as soon as Acosta's healthy, it has to be Acosta, Orihel, Gutierrez. John, I agree with you.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and agree with that. I think a lot of the guys we've just not seen, pretty much all the midfield, we've not seen enough of them this season to really pin down what our best midfield is. But when you're going on legacy and what players have done for us, we've got Guti, who's our upcoming prospect that we all love. You've got Acosta, who's your main man in the mid that we all love and has the classic moments from last season, even though it wasn't a great season. I think they go straight back in once they're fit. So really, it's everybody else playing for that last spot, and I think Orel's nailed that down this season. But he's got to know Kwame is right behind him there.
Are we saying everyone's healthy, right?
Yeah, of course.
All right. So it's Gutierrez, Acosta, and Pareba.
Okay, I hate you. What?
Yeah, you suck. What the heck? Did you say Pareba?
Yeah.
A guy we haven't even seen play.
Don't need to see it.
Don't need to see why.
Okay, let's pause.
This year,
Joe,
future.
Is this
Joe-
gaslighting or why? Why?
Joe is
Why?
the guy who thinks Patrick Lose isn't good, but he wants to start David Pareba now.
He hasn't shown me anything.
Yeah, all he. I
At the topic of haven't shown you anything, hasn't Pareba not shown you anything?
I mean, MLS Next Player of the Year.
Which is 2 divisions down from MLS regular.
It's like
So-
4 divisions down, if we're being
Bro.
honest.
I'm fine. I'm going to die on this hill.
That's as bad as Tom Barlow's good, just to let you know, Joe.
No,
Like,
it's
that
not. It is
yes, it is.
not.
Wow, so that's
There's
like the
no-
worst take of all time, then, huh?
No, that's a bad. It's not even close. A healthy Pareba, get out of here. Get out of here.
Wait.
What are you
You know
talking about? A healthy
Pareba's like
Pareba. This is like, oh, that freshman in high school that I saw is going to start for the Bulls next year. What the fuck are you talking about?
He's in.
idiot. That's like saying
Golden child.
That's like saying the best player in the G League is all of a sudden better than Josh Giddey and Kobe White on the Bulls.
You know what? Bronny might hold on. Let's have a conversation about Bronny. Really, is David Pareba the Bronny of the Fire?
No.
Who's David
Is that-
Pareba's dad?
Yeah.
Greg
Mr.
Berhalter?
Pareba.
Facebook, here I come.
Yeah, go join the world's greatest Facebook discussion group. Jesus Christ.
Chat, tell me who David Pareba's dad is. Is he one of the best basketball players of all time? That is my
He
question.
might be. We don't actually know that he's not. Does anybody know who his dad is?
Does he know who his dad is?
Mr.
I would hope
Pareba,
so.
probably?
I hope so for
What
his
if
sake.
that'd be really awkward
All
if he
right,
did
no more talking about David Pareba's dad. We will mention
Just
again
in
that
case.
Bronny James, legit NBA player. LeBron James, the GOAT, no question. Moving along, Luis had an interesting
Did you
topic.
just say that on a Chicago sports podcast, by the way?
Luis had a pretty interesting topic here that I
Matt's
think is
mom here
worth
yet?
this.
Hold up. Yeah, well, let's all just cut off John until we have 10 seconds to acknowledge this statement.
Yeah, no,
That's
I don't think
bullshit.
that's not a crazy take.
True.
Look,
LeBron's
Paul's wearing a
played for
Bulls
20
hat.
years.
Are you? I just lost so much respect for both Joe and John in the span of
Who
5
is
minutes.
John
This is-
Chicago? That's
What?
what the
Is that another one
Dinosaur
of your
said.
alter
His
egos
dad
that
is
says
John
that John Bede's
Chicago.
good?
John Chicago. Oh, I know him. He's from Chicago.
Time to find him on Facebook.
Shout out John Espinoza, by the way. No reason. I just thought about him.
What if he's Pareba's dad?
Oh,
Wait,
shit,
what
he's
if-
a Zodiac
No.
killer?
Wait. Actually, should we tell someone?
Tell someone what.
That Pareba's dad is the Zodiac. God, Matt, keep
I'm not
up.
snitching.
This is
I didn't
supposed to be
hear.
your John.
Too busy
Chicago
thinking about how
inventor of
frustrated I am with you, John.
So
Okay,
Prager's
we're
dad
gonna-
either
we're gonna
invented
keep it
Chicago
moving.
or murdered people.
We're
Okay, we're nailing this
keeping-
down here.
fellas. Luis had an interesting take. Luis said that the Fire will have a better away record than a home record this year, and that feels a little prisoner of the moment to me. Luis, respectfully, I think you're wrong. Am I the
Yeah.
only one? Okay, Paul.
Well,
disagrees.
according to Joe, if David Pareba was playing, we'd win every single game. You stupid idiot! So
Be undefeated.
I mean,
screw you.
if it stays on the current trend, I mean,
Yeah.
we will. I mean, it's not impossible. I mean, you just want to win as many away and home games as you want. You want to win every game. So, like, as long as they're wins, I don't care where they are. But I
Yeah.
paid my money for home wins, so I'd kind of like to see some wins in person, if that's okay.
I do think it's actually kind of a cool point of, I think this says a lot about the Fire's depth, right? Like, to me, what these like 6 games tell us is that there's a real chance the depth that the Fire have is better than the depth that a lot of other teams in the league have, right? Like, they were down 3 or 4 players against Vancouver, who were also down 4 or 5 or 6 players, right? Like, and that was a pretty easy game for them. So I think that's actually kind of a cool thought to have. So maybe, but I think it's a little more indicative of the depth that we've seen in the midfield, the level of the attacking play more than anything else.
I think this is a hot take. A good take, Luis, would have been the Fire will win more games away than they have since I was fucking born, 1999. That would be a better take. I think they're going to have maybe like 7, 8 away wins, which is great. That's awesome. But yeah, no, John's right. This is a load of kooky cocky. We'll stop living in the moment, man. Come on, Luis. I'm sorry.
Before I let Joe go, I'm going to say, guys, remember, you can click the link that's pinned here. You'll join the Zoom waiting room. We'll get you in if you want to join in. Would love to have you. Would love to hear your takes. Otherwise, it's just going to be Marshy again in 5 minutes. You know that dude is just itching to get another take off. I'm just kidding, Marshy. I love you. Thank you.
I'm
Joe,
surprised we haven't heard from Skyway yet.
I know he's normally well. He can't. He just figured out how to work Discord. To be
Discord, yeah.
Yeah.
I
fair,
was
Joe.
gonna
What do
check to
you?
see if he's there.
There's like 7 people just in the Bridgeview stage right now who didn't get the message.
Are they really?
No, I'm joking.
Oh,
Joe,
I'm actually
what do
gonna
you?
look.
There's actually 5.
What do you think about the away form, brother?
The away form's good. I think again, I'll agree with you guys on the, being prisoner of the moment. But like I said with Matt, we get 8 road wins. We get more wins than we do home wins. I'm A-okay with that. Points is points.
True. All that matters is that we get to see a playoff game, to be honest, preferably
That'd
a
be
home one.
awesome.
Yeah. So if we can do that, if I can be throwing up some spirit fingers, I don't want to say I'm going to throw things on the field. I'll get banned. To support the club, that would be a lot of fun in a
You're
playoff.
throwing up some spirit fingers?
Maybe
Yeah.
light some
Woo.
flares.
Good.
Give
Okay.
me jazz hands?
Chill out, one very specific guy whose name I'm not going to mention. All right, next moving on here. Render 312 had what I honestly one of my favorite questions we've ever gotten here. If you had to design a tifo for the Fire versus Miami game, what would it be? I don't know if anybody else has one. If you guys don't, I'll kick us off. Paul, you look eager here.
Yeah, I can hop in. I have been in the chats for some of the TIFO designs and stuff like that, and I've seen some of the concepts. And I'm not going to tell you any of them because I went to my concept. And now when you're some of you might know, not, but when you go to a Cubs game and you're walking down Wrigleyville and those guys are selling the fake T-shirts and they've got the I ain't afraid of no goat with the Ghostbusters thing. I think just something like that and a big thing if Messi plays. Other than that, just I don't know, fuck Messi chant. But like in the Run DMC style that Matt's wearing right now on his beautiful Men in Red hoodie.
Thanks, man. I had a funny one. I had two. I had 2 that I'm going to share because I can't share one. One.
Oh,
if you've seen-
share it.
I will, Joe. And I'm not talking to you right now. Number 1, if you've seen the Severance season 2 finale, there's that one scene where the goat lady has the goat and she's about to shoot the goat. And I think that'd be super cool on a tifo. as a metaphor of Messi being shot. Although I do not advocate for violence and don't want him to get shot. I just want him to lose viciously. The second one, which is also actually violent now that I think about it.
Maybe you should keep this to yourself. You're gonna end up on the list.
No. I'm locking in. Would be like, I'm standing up for this. Would be like if there's like a giant foot and underneath it's just like the 4 Barcelona guys. So Alba, Suarez, Busquets, and Messi. And the foot is like a sock of one of the Chicago Fire players, and it's Hugo's sock. And it's like him like metaphorically stomping on all of them. Once again, I don't advocate for violence, but like,
why is it his sock? Why not his shoe?
Yeah.
Okay,
Mallet
but the
socks.
sock is part of the uniform. The shoe is like part of the they pick what shoe they want to wear. You know,
Yeah, but how
Yeah,
you
but
gonna
we
know
could
what
just put the
stock it
crest
is?
on a boot. Like, what are?
guys, it's just my vision. Okay, don't hate on it. Why are we hating on me?
I hate
We
your
gotta
vision.
hate on Joe more. Yeah, your vision sucks too. Your Pareba vision.
All right.
Well, no, the best tifo is what we need. Is Sparky mounting a flamingo?
Okay.
It just
Oh, all right.
and
Okay.
it's a 2-part.
Okay. Well, look.
That's
Here's
fucking awesome, dude.
My
mine.
first plan was Sparky mounting Messi, so I'm glad I didn't run with that one.
Okay. Yeah, I think mine.
That's
mine,
what you freak out about. Matt's literally talking about actual gun violence themed tifo, and we're just talking about
Yeah.
2 cartoon animals going at it.
Well, one of them was a person. Let's be
Yeah,
clear.
God forbid a man with a fuck a peacock.
A flamingo's a person.
A
No,
flamingo, not a
Paul
peacock.
said Sparky mounting Messi. So that's
That would be
where my
fun, too.
Okay, so
Or
mine,
we could
right?
do Sparky mounting a goat in a Miami shirt.
Mine was almost like, do we just say, fuck these guys? We're not even going to give you like the pleasure of being our tifo, right? We're not going to make this about you. We're going to make it about us. And in that route, I went with what I really want to start us doing, which is going to be Jack Elliott in royal garb. And then it says, God save the king underneath. Paul, I'm sorry. I hoped you would like kind of appreciate this because it was about the player, not about the culture. I'm Irish. I don't love the English either, but we can all
No
love Jack
monarchies.
Elliott. Yeah, but he's not actually the king, just in soccer.
We don't invite the idolatry of it. If that seems
You know
right.
what? Let's go to the chat really quick.
Behead him.
John's like scared of confrontation today for some reason.
Let's
You're
get
opening
no.
it
We're
to
gonna go
a
to the
lot.
chat because I want to talk some confrontation. Dinosaur, first of all, I saw you say earlier you want to join. You can always just drop your takes in the chat, right? So we're going to take a minute here, reflect over some thoughts that people have left in the chat, starting with, what if instead of hot takes, it was freak takes? That's kind of what this episode feels like, if we're being honest.
Yeah, Tim and I are working on setting that up. Don't worry, guys. It'll cost $15 a month.
Yeah, if you want to stay on for another 20 minutes after this call, we'll be ready to start that.
All it would be is Kutsias covered in hot oil. It's just like
He doesn't
beaming
even
everywhere.
play here anymore.
It's still great.
Zinker.
No, but Zink is no. Because Kutsias has a body that I want to rub oiled up.
Okay, that's a very interesting. Anyway,
Wait, John, do you see Skyway in chat right now?
no.
He goes,
created
I created a freaking channel just to let you know I'm watching. So he's here. He's with us. But I don't want to deal with Zoom because I only have a limited number of flips to get. That's okay, Skyway. We love
every
you.
flip they can
You
get.
didn't need to create a channel just to let us know you're here. We love you. You're a good man.
Thank
I
you.
would be here.
Thank you,
I'd be a
Skyway.
subscriber.
Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I'm losing it a little bit here. I saw FC Neo Tokyo in the chat. This isn't really a take, but just worth mentioning. What MLS budgetary wizardry do we need to make Virgil van Dijk happen? None. You just sign him as a designated player. That's the whole thing.
Or as a TAM player, so my dream could become reality and I could become
Fun
an oracle.
fact, I don't actually think we have the budget to sign him to a TAM contract right now. I don't think we have the salary space.
Have to sell Guti, Dean, and a couple
Oh yeah,
others.
or sell Dean for a lot. All I want,
Hold
Matt.
on. Can I hop on one? Matt
Yeah.
Inwood
Pause.
says, "Hot take: the club needs more merch like the shirt tuck." Yes, Mister. I'm so creative. Where? Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
No, go ahead. Finish that sentence. I'll wait.
No, I'm just saying, go ahead. I mean, John is a very creative guy. Like, I mean, a bunch of memes that he's creative, I would want on a t-shirt.
All I'm saying is, I think it'd be a great idea if there was this small media organization out there that knew a lot of people in the community that would put those meme stuff on shirts and get them out into the market quickly, so psycho people like us could buy them. I
Oh
wonder.
yeah,
if there's-
obvious shirts, right? Those guys are great.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm thinking smaller than that, honestly. Great
Oh, okay,
idea.
okay.
No, it's a great idea.
Matt, are you plugging something right now? Are you teasing something?
I'm not I'm teasing an idea I've had. For
Matt, what hoodie are
Where
you
can we get
wearing?
that hoodie?
Oh yeah, if you're seeing this, we're actually going to launch this soon. It's a black Koimir hoodie. Come on, you men in red. The club slogan and kind of our slogan as well.
You want me to do what to those men in red?
No, that is not what it's supposed to be.
Now I want it. Matt,
Come
send me a
on,
link.
you
I can order
Such
it.
a freak take.
COME. If you're interested in these, let us know. I'll be
Drop
posting them out on our website soon.
Drop a Koimir in the chat if you want a hoodie, fellas. Going off what Matt said, we need Hollow Live Night because that will basically guarantee us a cup. I don't know what that means, but hell yeah, brother. Get me a US
Hollow
Open
Live.
Cup championship. Hot take,
It's
actually.
a VTuber agency.
Let me throw this one out there. This is chat.
Yeah.
I want to hear from you. Fellas, I want to hear from you. I'm going to say it. I'd rather win a US Open Cup than an MLS Cup, at least for this year,
Oh,
certainly.
yeah.
Like, I just think it would mean
No
a
doubt.
little more.
No doubt.
That's an interesting question. I feel like I don't agree with it because an MLS Cup is inherently a bigger trophy, but I'm not upset with it because I would not be upset if we won the US Open Cup and won MLS Cup. And on that note, John, we do have someone in the waiting room.
Woo!
Can I let him in? Or Paul, do
Yeah.
you want to say something first?
I'm all good.
Wouldn't that be first to six? Am I making that up?
I don't know. This is looks like we got a Ryan entering the group. Ryan, you are being admitted right now.
Oh, shit. That's my guy, Ryan.
Do you know Ryan?
Yeah, he's in Redline. Right?
Oh, hey
Or
Ryan.
is this a different Ryan?
I don't know. Ryan's a common name.
Ryan, you're muted.
You're live.
Am I now?
No,
there
you're
you
not.
go.
What's up, guys?
Different
What's
Ryan.
up, Ryan?
Sorry.
Go Bulls.
Ryan.
John's a LeBron fan. Don't talk to him.
That's all right. Quick hot take before it gets loud again. The Fire are going to sell Gucci over the summer and replace him with a DP10, and our offensive efficiency will increase. I'm not saying Goody's a bad player. I think he doesn't fit perfectly with Berhalter's system. So that's just my hot take for today. And so far, I think I was right on my last hot take where I said that they would lead the league in goals scored and given. So far, I'm on pace for that one.
I think Joe said that too, if I remember correctly.
Well, Joe said half of that. Ryan seems to have both sides of that.
I
Yeah.
said all three things that you're thinking that I said.
Joe's like,
Basically, Ryan and
anything
Joe
that's
are-
right, that was me.
Yeah.
This
No,
fucking guy.
this is interesting. I do think Guti gets sold. I don't think it's this summer, especially as he's just finding his form. I think it's going to take a full season for him to make that jump. That being said, if we sold him and brought in a guy like Antoine Griezmann, who we all know is going to LA, but like I wouldn't complain for a second.
Works so well for Giroud. Ironically enough, I don't disagree.
Incomparable, John.
I don't disagree with what you're saying, Ryan. Like, I don't think Gucci will be sold this summer just because I don't think they'll let him leave. Like, I think it would be, if anything, maybe like a Gaga situation where it's like, you can buy him. He's finishing this season, right? Like, I think he matters enough to this team. And I think there's a good chance that I think the Open Cup matters this year because I think Greg knows, hey, MLS Cup in first year is not the most attainable. We could win a US Open Cup if everything goes right. But I don't think he'll be replaced with a 10. I mean, Greg is already showing he's not playing with a 10, right? Otherwise, Guti would be playing there. He's really playing a true 4-3-3. So I think more than likely is you get a Weston McKennie type, right? A guy who can play a little more offensively in the midfield, but not as a true natural 10. I don't think that's quite what he wants. But I could be wrong. But that's the only place I would really disagree with.
That's fair enough. I played left and right back in high school. I don't watch film, go off vibes. So
It's the only way to do it,
is
baby.
my forte.
Yes, way.
You'd be great on this show, Ryan.
I'm the one
Thanks.
that said I could replace Dean. So
Okay.
That's 'cause
All
you
right.
know.
Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Thanks for hopping on, Ryan. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man.
Damn it.
I just want to point out, I don't even know what it was to, but Dinozar in the chat said John W. So I agree with you. It was a John W. That tends to be how these things roll.
It's the first one.
Is
The
this-
first
is
time
this
you've
like your
ever
own
heard that in
YouTube
your
channel?
life. Yeah, dude. My
Shit.
goodness.
DJ in the chat said Pogba or Griezmann. Guys, I don't think this is a hot take. I would take Pogba.
No. He's been a Vine football player for about 10, 15 years. He's been little bits of talent here and there, but he's never consistently done it for the money that he's commanded.
Yeah, I agree. I think he'd be fun. It'd be like Neymar, where people would come out to see him, but I don't think he'd produce. And Joe, I don't know if you have anything to say, but we do have another person in the waiting room. He's like, yeah, good. I didn't want to hear from you either. All right, Dinosaur. We've been seeing you in the chat all day.
Hell yeah.
Let's see what you got to say. Dino, you are live.
John and his second camera. You're
Dino's
muted.
Dino is muted. Hi, Dino.
Bro?
Hello.
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 I want to. I keep.
Uh-oh, Dino. You're a little choppy. You're a little
Yeah,
choppy.
I'm trying to. I'm trying to.
There we
My
go.
mic
You're
to be
good.
weird.
You're good.
Okay.
You're good.
Okay, I'm not touching it. So never mind. Oh, okay.
It's
So,
okay, you're a
the
dinosaur.
Hololive
We
thing.
expect you to be struggle with technology.
Okay. Why? Okay. So the Hololive take. I don't remember what year it was for the Dodgers. It was when they won the big Hololive. Bargura.
Your audio is very cloudy, my friend. We cannot quite
I'm
hear
sorry.
See, now
All
Dino's
good,
back.
dude.
Now Dino's back. Dino's back. You got this. I believe.
I know. I'm trying. My mic is being
No,
so
you're
weird.
good.
I don't know why. Okay.
Now you
good,
sound fine. Yeah.
The Gargura won, saying "Take me out to the ball game," which the Dodgers came back and won that game, and later they won the World Series. And the Eagles, the Eagles won the Super Bowl, and in June of 2024, Fuamoko tweeted that they support the Eagles. So all I'm saying is, if we get a Hololive YouTuber to support the Chicago Fire, we might win some trophies. All I'm saying.
So this is some weeb shit. Got it.
Oh yeah.
Got it.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Where's
yeah.
Jiggly? The
Yeah, I
one
was gonna
time
say-
we need Jiggly.
Yeah. No, I think that's interesting. You know, I'm honestly bought in. I truly, I'm a man who believes in superstition.
Oh, yeah.
So Dino, if you could, get some VTuber, still don't really know what that is, and that's okay. Like I'm
That's
locked
fine.
in. Yeah.
And I also feel like I
take
could
it.
convince some of my. I feel like I could. Oh, am I okay? I feel like
You're
I could
good, you're good.
convince some of my more like soccer reluctant friends to go to like a Hololive night, which I think would be really good. Just in general, like appealing to different people is always good.
Yeah, I'm all about that, man. Sounds like a good time. And honestly, like anything that makes this a little more goofy is fun for me. Like I'm all about it. Like I want us to be a good team first and like kind of a goofy team second. You know, I want to have fun on social media and I want to win games. Those are the two things that
Yeah.
matter to me most.
What hot takes? I want to lose games and have shitty social media personally. God damn.
Oh, so like, I'm not going to say what I was going to say.
Say it, John. Say it, John.
No.
St. Louis.
Damn.
Oh, there it is.
Okay, I think I can still be heard. I'm not certain.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. That's just my hot take. I don't have any others. I feel like most of them are just cold takes. Like, oh yeah, like we're gonna do good. Like,
We're going to.
Hell yeah.
That's kind of a hot take if we're being honest. It was a joke, Matt. Jesus Christ. Comedy is illegal now because of woke. Anyway, not Marcy. Sorry, I'm just used to saying that. Dinosaur, thank you. We really appreciate you hopping in here. Any last words before we move you on to the great beyond? All right.
Well, good luck with the comment.
Good join. Good luck with it's an asteroid, Joe. It's an asteroid when it gets into the atmosphere.
No, it's not.
I have no idea if that's true.
It was
No,
totally an
it's
asteroid
not.
that killed those motherfuckers, though.
I like sometimes as we kind of wrap here. Unless Matt, do we have anybody else waiting to get in?
Nope. If
Well,
anyone wants
this-
to, now's your chance.
Yeah, this will be your 2-minute warning here, fellas. Fellas and ladies and folks, anybody who's listening. I often think back to when this show started, when Paul and I, who didn't know each other at all, talked about how Sparky was definitely not a cow. And I just want to say thank you all for being here. Thank you all for listening and joining. This has become such a fun time. Fellas, do we have any other takes to get off before we close out?
Any
Anybody
takes,
else want to
Alyssa?
jump in?
Joe's wife's here.
Any
Alyssa,
takes?
you love being on camera. Come on.
She doesn't want to be on camera, but you don't have any takes?
Can
Isabel,
everyone
do you
get
have
their
any takes?
fiancés or wives, and
today.
I'll sit here in solitude
Do you have
because
any
I'm.
takes?
I feel like I told you my takes.
What's your take? Who we
Okay,
who's
What are
who's,
the takes?
whose wife or fiancé is talking right now?
Mine.
Alyssa,
Okay,
go
I
first,
also-
and then
The
we'll
take that I
go.
told Joe that he may have stolen is that Sam Rogers isn't. He's serviceable. I think we all got a little scared.
That was his big take of the
first game
game.
he played. What's Sean saying? I
Yo,
can't
you're
hear him. What's he
ruining
saying?
his heart right now. I'm texting you.
That
Alyssa,
was
don't
his
worry
big,
about it.
Alyssa. That was
okay, I
his
can't hear you
big
guys.
thing.
But
That was my big take of the entire thing.
you stole. Okay, I would just.
No, didn't
I'm
steal.
coming on camera now. I just would like to go on the record and say that that was my take that Joe and I were discussing like over coffee yesterday. And he stole it. So you're being replaced on the podcast with me.
Well, good.
Men and women. Pause.
That would be nice. All right, Isabel, do you have a take? Okay, this actually, she said the stadium needs better snacks. I think that's actually kind of a terrible take. I think it's been pretty good.
Shut the really?
I don't know. You guys seem to rave about it. I don't ever eat there. You're always like,
Just
oh my
'cause I
God,
eat
ice
the
cream
food.
nachos.
I've never had ice cream nachos in my
Okay,
life.
apparently
That is
it was a
hot
good
take
take.
in itself.
I'm sorry. Apparently, I watched you eat ice cream nachos, man.
John, I have never had ice cream nachos at Soldier Field. You got the wrong guy. I don't
Let's
even know
do
where
it.
you could buy them at Soldier Field. I'm down next time. We could do an official review for the Men in Red
Yeah.
97 social
Oh.
media. That's fun.
I can't eat those.
Yeah, I would.
Good.
I would
Yeah,
spend
yeah,
the
you're
second
not
half
invited
in the
anyway,
bathroom. So
Yeah.
What with
Shout out,
chips and
not
ice
allergies.
cream?
I like that.
Chips.
You know, there's this
That
thing called
damn
right.
lactose intolerance, Joe. You
Look,
intolerant fool.
Consider
There's a
yourself
thing called Midol or whatever. No, not Midol.
Lactate. Consider yourself
Yes.
put on notice. Soldier Field concessions. Get your
Yeah.
shit together.
We're on to you.
Has she had the chicken tenders?
They're solid.
Have you had the chicken tenders? Yeah. She says no. I should
I
have
had
known.
them
that.
at the game
She's
on
never been there
Saturday. They
without
were
me.
good. They were
That
good.
was another
Expensive, but
Alyssa
good.
stolen take, but the chicken tenders are pretty fire.
Yeah, they're fire.
Yeah,
Love
you
you.
can't go wrong with them.
Oh,
All
and
right,
breaking
we're off
news,
the
breaking
rails.
news. They have waffle fries now that come with the chicken tenders.
Yeah,
Okay.
You look like
Thank
a
you.
waffle fry.
We are off the rails. That's going to wrap us up. Matt, why don't you take us home? Thank you all again for joining, contributing. So sorry to have gotten where we got. Matt, take us home here.
No, that's kind of the point of the show, John. Thanks for walking us through all of that stuff, and for keeping all of us in check as best as you can, because it's a very difficult thing to do. A quick reminder of the schedule before we sign out completely. We're going to be doing another Hot Takes at the end of April. Keep your eye out on social media and our Bonfire podcast for the date. I anticipate it'll be around April 30th, because as I got roasted on Twitter about, April 31st does not exist. You'll be able to find this recording if you're in the live chat on Spotify, Apple, and you can rewatch it on YouTube. And for those of you who have been listening, thanks for listening. The Bonfire, in case you haven't been catching up the last couple weeks, has a kind of a new system. We are filming a preview of the game the Wednesday before the game, and then we are reviewing the game the Sunday after the game. So we're doing 2 episodes a week now, one releasing Monday and one releasing Thursday or Friday, depending on the schedule, which is really, really exciting. If you want to hang out with us at a game, aka Miami or Cincinnati, most of us will be in the South Lot. Some of us will be in the Waldron Deck. We'd love for you to come by, stop in, say hi, have a taco, have a hot dog, have a beer. Memo and I go around talking to fans in our Tailgate Talk series on YouTube. So if that's something you're interested in being a part of, we're in the South Lot. That's where we can interview you. It's always a good time. Other than that, real quick, where can we find all of our wonderful hosts on social media, John?
Oh gosh, Matt, you can find me on Twitter. It's West 3 times, all the E's are 3s. Basically, if there's stupid shit going on, I'm the one who posted it.
That is probably John. Paul, you?
Catch me at CTPaul90 on the old Twitter.
And Mr. Joe?
And I'm at Joe Titman.
You can find me, mshapes, MSHABES, on everywhere via social media. And of course, you should already be following Men in Red 97 on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and hopefully soon to be TikTok, along with MIR97 Pods, home of the bonfire and hot takes over on Twitter. That's all we got today. Thank you to everyone in the live chat who are still here chugging along after an hour and 15 minutes of us yapping. We can't wait to see you at Soldier Field in a couple weeks, and we can't wait to chat to you in the future. So that being said, come on you men in red, and we'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.
Gobble gobble.
Bye.
Let's go fire.
Thanks, chat.
All right, end of the broadcast.